Welcome everyone to your moon-inspired flow today. So come down onto your back. You can rest with your knees bent. This is a really nice restorative way to begin a class. We have a couple of blocks here. If you have 2 yoga bricks, great. But if not, a couple of books will do. But you can also manage perfectly well without them too. And so just relax for a moment. You can bring one hand on your heart, one hand onto your belly, and just start to notice your breath. Start to observe and lengthen your breaths. In particular, your exhale. Welcome yourself here onto your mat today. And letting go of everything that has happened so far today. We're going to start by coming into a beautiful spinal twist. Bend your knees and lower them to the right, extending your left arm out to the left. If you prefer to take any variation here, you can. But as this is the first pose of this practice, we're going to take it easy. And breathe your way into this now. Focus your breath at your tailbone and follow the breath up through your beautifully twisted spine, expanding and opening with each inhale, releasing and letting go with each exhale. Make your way to the center and change to the other side, knees bent. Bringing your knees over to the left this time, extending your right arm out to the right, palm face up. Relax your jaw and begin to focus on expanding in this direction now. Long, deep, slow inhale. Expanding and opening, and long, deep, slow exhale. Feeling your whole body relax. Taking a few moments to really ground ourselves and relax at the beginning of our practice helps to set the tone for the whole practice. There's no hurry, there's no rush. Let yourself completely ease in. Come back to center, beautiful everyone, and then bring your feet back down onto the floor. And from here, we're going to slowly press ourselves up to sitting and find our way into table position. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're going to start to work our spine a bit now into cat and cow, pressing your hands and your feet into the earth, opening an extension. And then that opens the front body, and as you exhale, pressing into flexion, opening the back body. And find your own rhythm with your own breath now as you move, just like Darvala and I are doing in this video. What feels good? Maybe you want to stay in one of the positions for a couple of breaths. It can feel really nice to do that. And just notice how your spine is responding to these movements. And then come up onto your fingertips and just open it up now. Letting go of the linear arches and openings, and just move and flow your spine here. See if you can connect to a sense of fluidity, finding the rhythm and the movement that feels good. Spending a little bit of time somewhere if you find a nice juicy stretch. And letting go of any form here. Step your hands a little closer to the front of the mat and reach up and back into your first downward dog. If you don't feel like doing downward dog here, child pose is always there as an option for you. You might find stillness in this pose or bend one knee then the other. And then when you're ready, lift the right leg up, flex through the heel, hug the knee into your chest and step it forward to the front of the mat. We're going to use our bricks here to bring our hands onto the bricks, but you don't have to, you can keep them down on the floor. We're going to go back and forth a little from a lunge with the knee bent to pressing back to a straight front leg like a runner's lunge. This can be very deep. Inhaling as you come into the lunge, exhale as you extend back, straightening the front leg. And then from here, step back into downward facing dog. Bring your hands onto the floor. And we are going to prepare to do this on the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, hug your knee into your chest and lightly step it forward towards the front of your mat. Coming up onto your blocks, and you can use any height here. Coming up higher allows our chest to be more open. So just play around with it. It can be really nice to use height always in our poses. Inhale as you lunge forward, bending the knee. Exhale as you extend back, straightening the front leg as much as is comfortable. And from here, place the blocks down once again if you were using them and step back into downward dog. Well done. We're going to come back and rest for a moment in child's pose. It's always nice to take little pauses in our practice, and if you don't feel like it today, you can stay in downward dog. But if you wanted to join us here on the floor, just to notice how our breath is moving, how our body is starting to respond to the opening of this practice. Coming back up, we'll meet in downward dog once again. We're going to lift the right leg up again. Exhale, hug the knee and step it forward towards the front. And if it doesn't make it, lift it up, give it a lift. We're going to plant the feet down and lift all the way up into a warrior two pose. So this is a strong pose, wonderful way of opening the hips. Front knee is bent. And on your exhale, really draw your belly button towards your spine and extend back. Connect the back heel down onto the floor. Arms are lifted, gazing forward at the fingertips in front of you. We're going to straighten that front leg, extend forward and come into triangle or trikonasana. You can place your hand on your leg. I'm using a block here. I like the block here because you can push down into the floor and feel the lift of your chest. We want to feel that the lower ribs, the lower side waist is lengthening, expanding outwards in every direction. Bring your left hand onto your hip, step your brick forward, make sure that the front foot is turned forward and that the foot doesn't turn to the left. And when you're ready, we're going to lift up into a half moon pose. We couldn't have a moon inspired class without half moon pose. Extending back into the lifted leg, that foot is flexed, not pointed, will help your balance, as will finding a point in front of you that's not moving. And then very slowly bring that back leg down. We're going to come out the way we came in, back into Trikonasana, breathing, extending out from the arms, extending down into the floor, and then bend the front knee, lifting back up into Warrior Two once again. Beautiful. Darvla and I are doing a great job there. Breathe. Notice what it feels like now in the pose the second time. And coming out of this, straighten the front leg, turn the feet out, and we're going to sink the hips down, coming into goddess pose. Yes, this can be very challenging. You can have your hands anywhere. We have them in a sort of cactus pose, which opens the shoulder. But if the hips are feeling like there's enough going on there, you can keep them in prayer. From here, we're going to come up and spin towards the back of the mat now. And we're going to come into Warrior Two on this side. So check your feet, look down. Left foot is pointing forward, back foot is at 90 or slightly pointed forward. Bend deeply into the front knee. As you inhale, open and expand in your torso. And as you exhale, gently draw your belly button towards your spine and ground in the back foot. Really important that we keep that back foot ground. From here, you remember Trikonasana, straighten the front leg. If you feel your front knee is hyperextending, and many of us might feel that, bring a micro bend. That means a teeny tiny bend into the front knee. Extend down with the legs and out with the arms, radiating in all directions. Breathe as you lengthen the lower waist. Right hand onto your hip this time. We're coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. This is a balance pose. Check your front foot that it hasn't moved from that same position pointing forward. You might be up on some height. Your block is great here. And the extended leg, the one that's in the air, is flexed and really pushing as if there was a wall behind you. Breathe. Well done. Great pose, everyone. Slowly lower back towards Trikonasana, coming back out of this the way we went in. Notice what it feels like the second time in this pose. And you'll remember from Trikonasana, we're going to slowly bend that front knee, coming all the way up into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Strong pose. Feel that warrior energy, the energy of strength and courage. Straighten the front leg, and from here, turn the feet out, coming into Goddess pose a second time. See if you can push your knees back behind you, come a little deeper into the hips, and maybe bring your arms behind your back, either folding and holding your elbows or reverse Trikonasana or reverse prayer. Turn your feet forward as we fold forward into a nice, deep, wide-legged forward bend. If your neck feels compressed because your head reaches the floor, start to bring your feet back towards one another a little bit now. There's a journey outwards first to get our head down, and then there's a journey back as we bring the legs slightly closer, so your spine has length. Lift a little, turn your hands, walk your hands towards the front of the mat and step back into downward facing dog, and then slowly lower once more back into child's pose. There is a choice here if you want to stay in downward dog, it's completely up to you. But with the moon, this lunar receptive energy, it can be nice to come and rest and to feel and to notice. Breathe here. When you're ready, let's come again, downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to come into a side plank. So feet are together. You're going to bring your right hand into the middle, spin onto your right foot and extend up with your left hand. This is a balance pose. If you want to extend the arm over your ears to get that lovely long side stretch, you can. Keep the hand that's down, keep that shoulder really engaged. As you spin over onto your left arm, really engage your left shoulder. Top hip comes forward a little bit, extending up. And if you want to take the variation of bringing the arm over your ear, you'll get a lovely side bend. Beautiful pose, Vasisthasana, challenging one arm balance, one leg down. When you're finished, come into downward dog and find your way back into child once again. Let that pose go. Breathe here. Breathe into your kidneys. We'll find our way back up once more into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up, hug the knee into your chest and step it forward towards the front of your hand. We're coming into side angle pose here. You can use your block, you can bend your elbow and bring it onto your knee, or you can keep your hand on the floor. Find what works for you as you extend your arm up over your head, breathing into this lovely side bend. And from here, we're going to bend down and come into Skandasana. And we're going to go back and forth from one leg to the other, feeling your way into your hips. This can be really challenging. You can keep your fingertips down the whole time, going back and forth as we are here. Or if you feel your hips are warmed up, you might bring your hands into prayer and then go back and forth a few times with your hands in prayer. Just see what works. Your body may not be used to this pose. If you know it, you'll probably love it. It's one of those poses that the more you do, the juicier it becomes. Next time you get back to the right, we're going to extend the arms forward, bending deep into that hip. The straight leg, the left leg, turn the toes up towards the ceiling, pulling the foot back. Lifting up and then come over to the left side now. Skandasana on the left side. You might find you fold forward, walk your hands forward, right leg extended, toes pulling back into your body. This is a deep hip opening pose. Breathe. Turn towards your back, the back of your mat, downward dog, and we're going to do that on the other side. From here, we're going to come to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee and step it forward to the front of your mat. Plant the right foot down, coming into Parsvakonasana, side angle on the other side. Any variation, hand down on the block, elbow on your thigh, and extending the top arm, feeling that stretch all down this side of your body. Beautiful. And from here, bend that left knee, coming down into Skandasana on the other side. Once again, going back and forth, using your fingers. Really feel into your hips. This is such a great pose for our hips. Beautiful, back and forth. If you want to do it a few times with your hands off the floor, you can. Flowing side to side, or keep your fingertips down. We're going to come down now and sit that leg down, bend the right knee forward and fold over the left leg. Breathing here, you can bend the front knee a little bit or come up higher in your torso. This is a beautiful opening, so just take a few deep breaths here in this pose. Inhale, come all the way up, and we're going to transition by bringing that right foot down, push up, spin back to the front of your mat, drop the left knee and sit back towards that back heel, and the right leg is straight now as you fold forward over the right knee. Draw that right foot towards you as you lift and lengthen your spine, folding forward into this deep forward bend, opening into your hips and the back of that leg. Breathe. Inhale, lifting up, and then just slide that back leg back, bring your hands down, lift and lengthen into downward dog again. And once again, bring your knees down, and we're going to sit back on our heels this time. Draw your shoulders back, place your fingertips behind you, and as you inhale, simply lift your hips really slowly up. Not too far, keep your head up so you're looking forward, don't drop your head back. Just breathe as you feel the whole front of your spine getting a lovely stretch. Breathing, and then slowly bring your hips back down towards your heels. Bring your hands onto your thighs. We're going to do that again. Draw your chest open, draw your shoulders back, fingertips behind you on the floor as you lift up. This is strengthening for the fronts of our thighs. It stretches our hip flexors and the front of our chest. Keep your head up, looking forward. Breathe deeply into the front of your chest and then slowly sit back down, bringing your hands onto your thighs. We're going to come into camel pose now. And if you do not want to do camel pose today, you can either sit there and wait until it's past or repeat what we just did a couple more times. In camel, come all the way up onto your knees, curl your toes under for the first one, draw the shoulders back, extend the hips forward as you bring your hands onto your heels. You can choose to keep your head up if you're worried about your neck. Keep feeling like you're pressing your chest forward. Beautiful opening in this pose, strong pose. When you come out, lift up both hips, both shoulders at the same time. Don't come out of this pose torqued one direction and then the other. Sit on your heels, turn your palms up on your thighs, breathe and notice. This is a strong pose. Second time, if you want to curl your toes under and do that again with your hands on your heels, feel free. If you're comfortable with this pose and you want to keep your feet flat, just come down really slowly. Draw your thighs towards one another. Lift your chest, extending it forward. Feel length in your lower back. We're not collapsing or compressing back into the lower back. Save enough energy to be able to come up slowly. Head comes up last. Sit back down on your heels. And pause here. Breathe and notice. That's a strong, heart-opening pose. Bring your hands down in front of you, and we're going to come into a downward dog with bent knees to really release our spine. So bend the knees and lift the hips really strongly. Feel that your whole spine gets nice and long. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, and then bring your right knee forward for pigeon pose on the right side. Look behind you, make sure that the left leg is long and straight and that the toes are pointing back and not sickled. Make sure that your right knee is a little wider than your right hip. And when you're ready, you can stay high if you want, or fold down either onto elbows, or you can fold your arms, make a pillow with your hands and rest your forehead down. Breathing here, making sure that your knees feel safe. It's really important that we modify for any pose that don't feel safe in our body. Only you can know for sure what feels good. So breathe here and notice. There's variations. If pigeon pose doesn't work for your body, there's a great hip opener, thread the needle pose that can work the same areas without putting pressure on your knees. Breathing deeply now. See if you can lengthen your exhales. Slowly walking back up, elbows, then hands, curl the back toes under, lift the knee, lift the right leg, step it back into downward dog. Bend the knees, lengthen your spine. And when you're ready, let's do the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up, bend the knee. And you're going to bring the left leg forward to the outside of the left wrist, bringing the left foot towards your groin for pigeon pose on this side. Lengthen and slide that right leg back and check. Look behind you. Is it long? Are the toes pointing back? And then if you want to come down onto your elbows. That may be enough right now. Or if you want to, fold your arms, making a pillow for your head. Come all the way down. See if you can seek out the end of your exhalations here. Long inhales, but longer and slower and deeper exhales. There's a special place at the end of the exhale that brings us deeper into this pose. Notice it. Breathe into it. We're going to come out now, come back up onto your elbows. Bring your hands back in towards your body, curl the back toes under, lift the knee, and step back once again, downward dog. Bend the knees, lift the hips, lengthen the spine. Unwind a little bit from that pose. And then very slowly start to walk your feet to the front of the mat. Bend your knees, take a hold of opposite elbows, and hang down into a forward fold. You might sway a little from left to right. Keep your belly drawn towards your spine, bend your knees so that your upper back, middle and lower back all feel relaxed here, no tension. Step your feet a little bit wider, turn your toes out and see if you can lower down into a deep squat. This pose may not be comfortable for you right now, that's okay. Come and sit on your bum. We will meet there shortly. And then when you're ready, come back onto your bum. Come all the way onto your back, lying on your back. Take a moment here. You're going to take your brick here, and if you don't have one, you can use a cushion or a rolled up blanket. And we're going to bring it underneath our sacrum, under our bum. And we're going to show you a few different options here. You can stay at the flattest height, keeping your knees bent or extending your legs. But some of you might want to lift the block up. The sacrum is a flat bone above your tailbone. And you'll know using a block it's in the right place because it's a flat surface on a flat surface. Some of you might even want to come up even higher here. And if you are up at the highest height, or if you're using quite a lot of blankets rolled up, You might bring your hands together, interlacing your fingers, and extend your legs out, keeping the feet flexed. But any variation will work here. You can keep the knees bent, you can stay at a lower height. Breathing here, whichever variation you're in, opening up the front of your chest and breathing into it. Relax your jaw, enjoying this opening in the front of your spine. And if your legs were extended, we're going to bend them up now, one after the other. You're going to push down into our feet and take out your block or your blankets, cushions, and we're going to roll down really slowly. Upper back first, middle back, take your time, lower back. And when you get down, just pause there for a moment. Before we move into our next pose, just feel that lovely extension in your spine now that you're out of the pose. We're going to lift our knees, hug them into our chest, and we're going to take a twist. We started with a twist, and this time we're going to either do the same twist that you did in the beginning. We're going to twist to the right, but if you want to take another variation, wrap your left leg around your right leg before you twist to the right. It's a little stronger. You can try it and then decide to come back out and do the bent knees one we started with. Extend your left arm out, palm face up. Keep it in line with your armpit, your hand. Breathe here. Once again, feel that your torso is opening and expanding with every inhale, and that it's relaxing and releasing with every exhale. Breathing. Long, deep, slow inhalations. Long, deep, slow exhalations. And let's change now. So find your way out of this side and twisting to the left this time. If you want to take that same variation, wrap your right leg around your left leg. But that's not for everyone's bodies. You can keep the knees bent. Extend your right arm out now, palms face up. Breathing here, and as you inhale, feel that your spine is extending and opening in every direction. Feel the expansiveness in your whole torso. And feel everything surrendering and releasing as you exhale. Open your mouth, wiggle your jaw from side to side. We're approaching the end of the practice now, so really begin to let things go, easing our way into our final pose. We're going to make our way back out, uncurling the legs, bring yourself back to center. And just draw your knees in towards your chest, and with your hands on your knees, begin to make small circles. Gradually rolling your hips on the floor, let those knees moving in the same direction, letting those circles get bigger and bigger, and feeling your whole pelvis just kneading down into the floor. Changing direction, big circles in the opposite direction, gradually getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then place your feet down onto the floor and slide your legs long for Savasana, final pose. If you prefer to keep your knees bent, you can make your feet a little wider and with the knees resting against one another. Turn your palms up and see if you can draw your shoulder blades down a little under your body, creating space in your neck. Open your mouth and wiggle your jaw from side to side. And settle into some stillness now. We've had movement, and now it's time for rest. Notice how your body feels now. And notice how your breath is moving in your body now. Feel that connection to the earth. Can you feel that the earth is pressing up to support your body now? Allow all your bones to be heavy. They've worked hard. Let them go now. Let them be heavy. Allow your muscles now to let go. They've worked hard. Let them be heavy too. Feel that everything in your body now is heavy. Your eyes in your eye socket. In the quiet of this pose, we sense energy moving in our body, and we reap the rewards of our whole practice. Slowly begin to move your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, bend your knees and roll onto your side. Curl into a ball. Give yourself a hug. Rest here for a moment. This is our transition, this pose. So allow yourself to very slowly, as you lie here, release and let go of your whole practice, and to calmly face forward into the rest of your day. Gently press yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hands together into your heart. Bow your head into your hands and thank yourself for showing up today and practicing yoga. Namaste.